The Walt Disney Company and Lucasfilm have not removed themselves from the culture war. On the contrary, they have embedded themselves even further, despite what Disney CEO Bob Iger has said in the past. He just wanted to, quote, quiet the noise. And I think he might have done that to some extent, but it's not going to be quieting me whatsoever, because Lucasfilm revealed a first official look at a new quote unquote trans clone trooper. Before we get to this, I'd like to ask you, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos here at the Trent Report. I wrote this up over at thatparkplace.com, and Lucasfilm and publisher Simon & Schuster, I think that's who's publishing this in the United States. I think Titan Books is actually publishing this in the UK and abroad. They revealed a first look at a male clone trooper who is a man pretending to be a woman in this book here, Star Wars: The Secrets of the Clone Troopers. From what I gather, it is an in-universe history written by Rex about the clone troopers. An ex-user, SW Holocron, who appears to have purchased a copy of the book, which is written by Mark Sumerak and illustrated by Alberto Busicchio, revealed the book, quote, includes a first look at Sister, a, quote, trans woman clone trooper. The user added that the clone trooper Rex, who writes an in-universe account of the clone troopers, describes Sister thus: when one of our kind expressed her gender identity differently than her fellow troopers, she featured she'd have to hide who she truly was inside. Fortunately, her brothers in the 7th Sky Corps gave her the name Sister as a constant reminder that she belonged. I'm not sure if that is the case. I think it's you are clearly mentally ill, because we're all men. We're all the same. We have the same DNA, and you clearly have some kind of mental problem. But we're going to reaffirm it, because this is not Star Wars anymore. This is literally U.S. politics in 2024, U.S. gender politics, U.S. Demonic gender ideology in 2024. That is what Star Wars is. It is no longer Star Wars. It is literally just a vehicle for these woke weirdos to push their evil, disgusting, demonic agenda on to the masses, or at least attempt to push it on to the masses, doing so with this book here. As noted by That Park Place's Jonas J. Cable, the book is being marketed towards children. And obviously there is the picture of this clone trooper right here, man pretending to be a woman, even has the colors of the flag, the disgusting, perverted flag that they use, where they took the pro-life colors, blue and pink of the pro-life flag, and basically I've tried to subvert that and turn it into this disgusting, sickening, evil, twisted version that they call their transgender flag, having those colors, thinking that men can become women and women can become men, which is just completely impossible. And if you actually think that, you are indeed suffering from some kind of illness, whether that be mental, spiritual, or emotional. But you can see here that it is being marketed towards children. In fact, Simon & Schuster's listing of the book says this: learn the secrets of the clone troopers in this interactive, fully illustrated guide for readers of all ages. So they are literally trying to indoctrinate children into this ideology through this book. The description also adds this: Star Wars: The Secrets of the Clone Troopers contains beautiful illustrations that will enthrall children and child and adult readers alike. Enthrall. This image is supposed to enthrall children. Yeah, that's what they want. They want you to be enthralled by their ideology, that you will follow it lock in step. You will not veer from it at all. And obviously, we know that this ideology leads to death and destruction. Just look at kind of that 42% number that we see from the people who actually fully invest themselves into the ideology and fully buy into this idea. It is astounding, disgustingly so. And you can see right here, screenshot from Simon & Schuster's listing for the book. So we do have, what I found really interesting is the history of this character and how this character came about. The character first appeared in E.K. Johnson's Queen's Hope book back in 2022, so about 2 years ago. In a now deleted post, Johnson shared concept art of the character created by Uzuri Art. So it looks similar to what we saw here. And Johnson wrote this. I designed this one. Uzuri Art did the commission. Her name is Sister because her brothers wanted to make sure everyone knew that she belonged. Even though now she literally, she doesn't. He doesn't belong. He stands out because they're calling him Sister. He clearly stands out from all of the others, doesn't belong. I mean, you literally can't make this stuff up. All of the others are literally men, rightfully so, because they're cloned from Jango Fett. And then you have this character who's pretending to be a woman. It clearly doesn't belong. I mean, and they give him a name to make it clear that he's suffering from some kind of problem. And then in another post, Johnson added this: Sister doesn't have a huge part in the book, so we didn't want to use her existence as promo. I made her to be shared, not just with readers, but with other Star Wars writers as well. P.S. She's functionally immortal. Plot armor that makes Darth Maul look like a pushover. I mean, you literally can't make this stuff up. They're trying to claim that if you buy into this stuff, you will become immortal, when we know this is not the case. This stuff leads to death. It leads to destruction. These people take their lives at an absolutely significantly high rate because they are suffering so much. And pretending to be the sex that you are not does not help you. It does not help you whatsoever. Butchering yourself does not help you. Getting on pills does not help you, because you're clearly suffering from something else. There are clear other wounds that you're suffering from, and doing all of this stuff is not going to help you. It makes things a lot worse. There are plenty of actual testimonies now of people who have rejected this stuff, realize that it is wrong, and they tell you that how wrong it is. So, but this is what was I found extraordinarily interesting about this. This is not E.K. Johnson didn't even come up with this idea. Obviously, she does push this other character, Tipo or Teppo or whatever, however you say it, that's in the book, as this like gender fluid alien creature. But this came from the story group. This came from the top of Lucasfilm. This came from the top down. This isn't stuff that these writers are organically coming up with all of the time. This stuff is coming from the top. So Bob Iger saying he removed the company from the culture war, he could have done that. He actually could have done that. I think that if Bob Iger wanted to do that, he could have said, no, we're not doing this stuff anymore. We're cleaning house. We're getting rid of the people who want to push all of this stuff, and we're not going to do this. He could easily do that. I think snap of his finger, get actually some stuff done. He could do that, but he's chosen not to. He is still engaging in this stuff. And E.K. Johnson is outing the Lucasfilm and the Walt Disney Company and noting that this stuff is coming from the top down. And she says this in an interview with the Force Friends Rewatch. She said she received some notes from her first draft of the book. And she said this: Story Group was wondering if you could make Tipo a trans character instead. And I thought about it for 10 seconds and like, no, I can't. It's not like flipping a switch in this case. And then I was like, but you did ask for another Anakin scene. So what if I just gave you a trans character in addition to Tipo? And Sister was an idea that I'd been floating around for a couple months at that point. And I knew that it was going to be a short scene. I knew that it was going to be very unsubtle. And I knew that I wanted it to be with Anakin because I wanted it to be one of his most like Jake Lloyd moments in the whole book. I really wanted that kind of innocence, that genuineness, that immediate acceptance to shine through in that scene. Again, so not only is this coming from the top down, but it is so sick and twisted that it is with a young Anakin, and it's trying to literally accept this person for what they are. And you should not accept them if they are lying to themselves and lying to you. You need to say, hey, this probably isn't the right path for you. Let's try and get some help. Because obviously you care for that person. They're made in the image of God. You don't want to see them go down this destructive path. But there are definitely other ways that this should be handled. If you're going to even include anything like this in a book, which I don't think you should in a Star Wars book, because it's clearly just used, as I said, for gender politics, gender ideology. That's all this is used for. And it's also being used to try and destroy Star Wars. As I referenced in a number of videos now, novelist Isaac Young literally says that's what these people do. They just want to take your toys, break them, crap all over them, so you can't even just see it anymore. You don't even realize what it is anymore. You don't even recognize that this is Star Wars. That they're trying to take that shine. They're trying to take away the actual story that elevates people, puts us towards something true and beautiful and good, and they want to just smear a bunch of crap all over that to take that away, so you don't, so you are not directed towards the true, good, and beautiful. That's exactly what they're trying to do right here. Instead, they're trying to point you towards things that are evil and destructive. And they're doing it with the character of Anakin, immediately accepting this character, which he would not. He would not. The Jedi do not believe in lies, even though obviously I don't know where he's at this point. He might still be a Padawan or something like that. But you would think you would understand that you are not supposed to be lying to people about things like this. So, but again, clear admission here that this was coming from the story group, and they were the ones trying to inject trans characters into this show, or excuse me, into this book, and then into Star Wars in general, because you know that they want to put this character eventually into a show or a movie or whatever. That's usually the playbook. We've seen this with Marvel, how they do all of this stuff. They're like, oh, the character was actually in the comics, because that's how they get rid of the complaints where this character was never like this in the comics, yada, yada, yada. So then they create a character that's literally like that in the comics. And then like, well, it is in the comics. Well, it's still wrong. It's still bad. Who cares if it was in the comics at this point? You're clearly just trying to use this to push your ideology and your power politics. So this is what we see now from Lucasfilm, from Star Wars. And as I said, completely exposes Bob Iger as the liar that he is, shows that he is complete incompetent. Another example of him being completely incompetent as the CEO of the Walt Disney Company. Because if you recall back, I don't remember when it was, but he was asked by CNBC, the woke thing has had more of an impact. You've said to me that you would love to be just out of the culture wars. Do you feel you're succeeding in that? Like, this guy's literally lying to the CNBC guy, saying that he wanted to be out of the culture war. And when he's literally got stuff like this happening repeatedly, and it's not just in Lucasfilm, we're still seeing this crap in Marvel. We're still seeing this crap all over the place at the Walt Disney Company. You're looking at their like Disney Junior stuff and everything. It's completely taken over the company. But he replied this. Well, I think, yes. I mean, I think the noise is sort of quieted down. So there you go, right? He's not even actually trying to get them out of the culture war. It's literally just the backlash against his demonic agenda is what he wanted to quiet down. I've been preaching this for a long time at the company before I left, and since I came back, that our number one goal is to entertain. It literally isn't. Your company is now just a vehicle for demonic ideologies and power politics. It's you've completely destroyed the branding of the company. You've ruined it for so many people. Look, the term woke is thrown around liberally, no pun intended in that regard. I think a lot of people don't understand really what it means. The bottom line is that that's absolutely a lie. People clearly understand what it means. Maybe they can't define it all of the time, but they understand that this stuff is against the natural order of things. And they instinctively recognize that, whether that be in transgender ideology, whether that be in feminist ideology, whether that be in identity politics, etc., critical theories, etc. People recognize that this stuff is unnatural, and they recognize it instinctively. The bottom line is that infusing messaging as a sort of a number one priority in our films and TV shows is not what we're up to. They need to be entertaining. That is literally what you're up to. We literally have evidence of this, that it's happening in the novels that you're publishing as well. This is literally what you're doing. That is what you are doing. You're such a liar. And look, where the Disney company can have a positive impact on the world, fostering acceptance and understanding of people of all different types. Great. So literally he's saying that we are still doing this stuff. He's just trying to use these like fluffy words here to mask what he's actually doing. I mean, he's just a straight up liar. But generally speaking, we need to be an entertainment first company, and I've worked really hard to do that. Clearly, that is not the case. Otherwise, we wouldn't be seeing stuff like this still happening. You wouldn't be publishing books like this. You would have immediately stopped this. You would have pulled this from the printing press. It would not have gone to press. So no, you have not done that at all. If you did, we wouldn't have seen this book. It wouldn't have come out. They wouldn't have been, or it wouldn't have come out with that description of the character or that image. He went on and said that when asked about how he's worked hard to make the company entertainment first, he said this: engaging with our executives, engaging with the creative community, returning to our roots, making sure that everybody is aligned with what our priorities are, and understanding that, look, we're trying to reach a very, very diverse audience. So he's literally admitting what their priorities are. Clearly, we now know their priorities are pushing trans ideology in Star Wars. That is what the priorities are. He said he had all of these meetings, and this is what we're still getting even in 2024, the end of 2024. And on one hand, in order to do that, the stories you tell have to really reflect the audience that you're trying to reach. So literally trying to create more transgender people. That's what he's saying right there. He's literally trying to admit that, get more people to buy into this ideology. But that audience, because they are so diverse, really, first and foremost, they want to be entertained. And sometimes they can be turned off by certain things. And we have to be more sensitive to the interests of a broad audience. So he literally is all about the ideology. He actually is totally for it, totally wants it to continue. But he's like, oh, well, we got some pushback against some of this stuff. So we got to be a little bit better at how we indoctrinate these people, is basically what he's saying there. It's not easy. You can't please everybody all the time. So the dude's a complete liar. We have all of the evidence. And the Walt Disney Company is still the giant woke leader in the entertainment sphere of our time. And this book is clearly the most recent example of it. And obviously they just started doing Pride Nights too, right? In Disneyland, like last year. And they did the second one this year. So that's like new. That's new. They weren't doing that before. And this is like when he's talking about how they're removing themselves, quote unquote, removing themselves from the culture war, which they clearly have not. But let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know what you make of Lucasfilm, Walt Disney Company, adding in a new clone trooper who is a man pretending to be a woman. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, especially to each other, but to always speak the truth.